Good morning. Good morning, friends. Good morning, family. Look at that. Mount Diablo. 3 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon in earthquake-shaken California. This is going to be a quick video. I only got a couple of things I'm going to talk about. The earthquake today. Wake-up call for sure. I haven't seen any reports of damage or anything. One person went live on their YouTube channel who lived in the region and her chandelier was swinging, but that was like it. Tsunami warnings for the whole coast practically. And I watched a live video stream of the beaches in Pacifica. Nobody heeded the warning. Nobody ran for high ground. They all stood there, but there was no sign of any big waves. Anyway, it's kind of fascinating. Oh, these views. I got lots of pictures I've taken of this so far. Anyway, oh, look at that. Oh, you can't see it. I'm already going up on. Bye. Well, I tried to pause, and I don't know if that worked, so I might have to stitch these two videos together if it's too. Can you see now? Nope. I just want you to see what I can see behind me, the mountain. It's not there. Let's see, can we flip her? There she is. Earthquake, Smurfcake. Shouldn't joke. I don't joke. I'm not joking. I did joke and I shouldn't have. I don't mean that. Same with any kind of disaster. Do not make fun. Do not jest with Mother Nature. But I was starting to say what my job is as a healer, as a starseed is, and this is what I do every day. And when I come on these hikes, I can do it more. I can do it better. Connect to heaven and open my crown chakra, and the light and love and power of God comes in through my body and goes down through my feet into the earth. And I can push it out with my hands as well. And all it takes is a little flip of switch inside your mind and say, I'm going to redirect this incoming loving power of God into a healing, protective force. When you channel it down into the earth, when you ground it down into the earth, it can radiate out. It can bring peace to the earth. I'm just one little antenna man here doing this. There's millions of others doing it too. Okay, anyway. So today, as kind of one of my primary focuses, bring down calm, healing, loving, peaceful energy into the earth and send it out. Let it radiate out to all the places it can benefit. This is part of what this is. When I say there's other people doing it, it's a collective force. It's a collective force of other people that have this awakened sense of purpose. And so I bring in my deposit of channeling the energy, and it meets up with other pools and deposits of likewise energy, and multiplies and spreads and heals, and it's great. It's great. Okay. I'm going uphill again. Okay, the other thing, one other topic, and I'm going to keep this short as well. There's been, and you know the way that the YouTube brain works, it looks at what you watch and then it goes, oh, let's find some more of that for him to watch. So I've been seeing several older men coming on and titling their videos I'm 70 and I avoid people. That's kind of the general theme. And I'm part of that collective. Although I met 2 couples hiking on the trail today, and I stopped and talked with both of them. I don't hate people. I don't necessarily avoid them. Not when I'm in an open flow mode. Oh God, this hill. I should have remembered how much more there is to go uphill before I get to go downhill. And anyway, I've been, one guy said, I'm in monk mode. And I made a comment to him. I said, brother, I've been in monk mode for the last 26 years. And he was, in his voice you could hear, he's struggling with it. He's accepting this part of his destiny. But he still has attachments and cords, and he still has work to do, like I do. I went deeper into monk mode a couple days ago. Well, since November, monk mode has been intensifying. Oh, let's see, 156 heart rate. That's getting to the point. I'm like, dude, chill. Let's see if I can find. There is a place to sit down up here. We're almost there. I actually started my monk mode journey back in 1989. And yeah, it's been a refinement. It's been an exercise of refinement. In monk mode, just, a monk living in a monastery. And I did live in a monastery. I lived in an ashram. And that's where I fell in love with monk mode. And that's where I fell into having my deepest experience of being in love with God. And okay, jeez, I should have waited until I got here for this. Oh boy, yeah, monk mode rules, but it's hard. It's hard. It's definitely a calling, and I think that these guys, there's more people posting about it, that it's picking up, and it's not by chance, it's not by accident, it's the will and blessing of God. And I connect with these guys and I just say, more power to you. More power to you. It's been forever. It's been a thing forever. But it's just now with the population and the advancement of ascension happening on the planet. Here we got a biker coming up here. Yeah. How's it going? How you doing? Good. All right. Wish I was that strong. Whoa, too. Yeah. Whoa.
Paul makes it look easy.
You know what? I think I've seen you guys here before. Do you do this regular?
Paul does.
Enjoy.
My first time. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Brotherhood. Okay, anyway, so that was two things I was going to talk about. And the third thing, I don't think I mentioned this. I don't think I did because I haven't made a video in a while. The YouTube channel I watch with the woman whose son, hard, long story, I'll just cut it short. He's in heaven right now. And he's become like a teacher and a healer in heaven. And he's made himself accessible for channeling, and a lot of people channel him. I started to channel him, and it's not necessarily channeling him, but he works kind of like a scouting agent. He goes out and, well, upon the request of his mother, and she gathers requests from her audience on YouTube. People say, hey, we would like to hear a message from, this person that has died. And so her son, his name is Eric. Eric will go and find that person and say, hey, you want to take part in an interview? We got some people that would like to channel you. And then they video record the whole conversation. It's fascinating. To me it is, because this is what I'm learning. This is my study path now, is to learn how to be a more clear channel. So the video that I watched today, they just made it this week, in the past couple of days or something. The woman, Aileen Wuornos, I don't even like to use these identifiers for her. She just lived this tragic life. She was sent to death row for a series of murders she committed in Florida. I don't even know if I want to open up talking about this now, because this is really, it really stirred me deeply. The things that she was able to talk about, that she understands about the life that she lived and why that she did the things that she did. She's not completely healed in heaven yet. She's still going through the process, because she hurt a lot of people, and a lot of people hurt her. So it's not only asking for forgiveness from the people she hurt, but giving forgiveness to the people that hurt her. And then it radiates out, it ripples out, that you can't touch one person's life without affecting the entire world. Anyway, she talked about, the early experiences in her life of being abused, and how that sent her on a trajectory to become this just extremely unhappy, depressed, and maniacal murderer. And I'll just kind of wrap it up. One of the things I came out with in closing was, you never know who you're in the presence of when, like in public. You'd be sitting at a traffic light, and the person in the car next to you, total stranger, you have no idea who they are, what they've been through, what they're trying to do today. You have no idea. And this is something I just try and do all the time anyway. Just constantly be aware of your own self, your own space, your own trajectory. Be the best person you can all the time, and that energy will radiate out to affect and bless people around you. And I don't know, it just hit me really deep. Okay, anything else? Jeez, 12 minutes talking already. Okay, well, I got to get off of this hill. I got to get out of here, because it's going to start getting cold soon. And I got probably an hour more to go to get back to the car. Okay, this is part 3. I'm still out here. helicopter just flew by. It kind of messed up my groove. Oh, look at that. Sun's going down soon. I got about 45 more minutes to walk to get out of here. Okay, part three of the several things to talk about. You know, I'm still thinking about Aileen Wuornos. Here's a really deep thought. Everybody, and I've heard this before, everybody in all the lifetimes we experience has played the role of being every kind of person that exists. So when you see a character that's a serial killer and you contemplate, you know, whatever it makes you think about, and you feel little reverberations inside yourself, it's because you've got parts of what they are inside of you. And I may very well have been a serial killer or a mass murderer or something like that in a previous life that I've lived. And that I feel a connection or sympathy, whatever, towards this particular person. It's echoing back to when I had been that person, or I had been affected by a person like that. How's that for a deep thought? Okay, I think that's my wrap up for talking about her. Okay, so this was actually, this new topic, this was like the first thing I thought of talking about today. And at one point of the hike early on, I thought, oh yeah, let's get the camera out and start talking about this, but I wasn't ready because it was the uphill part of the trail, the really uphill. Hey, check out my shadow over there. The sun's very low, so I got a long shadow. Anyway, so yesterday I stumbled on YouTube onto a couple of channels of these guys who have massive record collections, like hundreds, probably a couple thousand records that they've been collecting since they were teenagers. And these are guys that love music, and they love all kinds of music. And these are guys that don't throw things away or don't give things away. And they kept all their records forever. And like now, they're like, oh, I'm going to talk about what I like about my music and stuff, my collection and stuff. So they put out videos like my top 10 favorite jazz albums, or my top 10 favorite punk rock albums, or stuff like that. And it's just endless, the varieties of ways they can talk about it. Anyway, the jazz guy got me wanting to hear a bunch of these jazz records. And so I was like looking them up. There goes the sun. You got enough room? Thanks. Oh, okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, that was unexpected and interesting. I got room to get out of the way over here. So I made a list and added a bunch of these musicians and unique special albums in particular to my Spotify so I can dig them up and listen. And I was like hours and hours and hours yesterday listening to all this new music. Oh, look at this, I love these trees. I'm just kind of waiting until this other vehicle comes, because this is a wide spot here. Okay, here they come. And then the next day I found another guy who was talking about, what was he talking about? Other kind of music. There they go. I don't know where they were or what they were doing. I could have asked them for a ride. No, that's cool. I'm good. Well, I watched two of his videos. One was about his top 40 albums of 2024, and I have not been keeping up with current music at all. And he's got a little bit of enough of a different edge of the kind of music. He's not just into pop or popular, or he said he likes edgy, he likes a little bit dark, and then he gets into a lot of these like musicians that play rock that's edgy with country, but like with emotional, semi-depressing lyrics and stuff, and there's just like Townes Van Zandt, that kind of really dismal. And I've never spent much time listening to that in my life yet. But anyway, okay. So, long story short, wrapping back around to the beginning, what my whole point was. These two guys, oh, and then plus another thing I saw yesterday, which is really fascinating. This guy's just published a book of his photographs. He became a punk rock music photographer back in the early 80s through like the mid 90s. Shoot. With who I was in 1979, working in a record store. Access to getting early release tickets to concerts. Interested in photography, wanting to become a concert photographer. Had one experience of photographing a concert. I had like second row seats to Jethro Tull at the Cow Palace on the Bursting Out tour, and I took my camera inside. This was my big chance. This was my big chance to break into concert photography. And somebody from his tour came out and told me personally, he said, Ian doesn't like to have pictures taken of himself. He said he would appreciate it if you didn't do that. And I was like, what do I do? What's going to happen if I do it? And Nancy was sitting next to me, and she like kicked me. Well, not really, literally, but she like said, don't you dare not take pictures. This is your big break. So I did. I shot a whole roll, maybe 2 rolls of film, and most of the pictures were underexposed. I might have got a couple of good shots, but it was my first time to try and shoot in that kind of light with black and white film, Tri-X, pushing it to 1600. Anyway. What year was that? Whatever the Breaking Out tour was. It was around 1980, 79, 80. Or Bursting Up. Oh God, this could turn into a really long talk because I have to start talking about why I left California. And what was the results of that? Oops, there's the crescent moon, which you cannot see with this. Yeah, oh well. I jumped timelines. The timeline I was on was to stay in the Bay Area, to keep going to concerts, to become more experienced photographer. That was my passion. Photography was my passion. Concerts and rock and roll was my passion. So this guy who's just now publishing this book of his photos of the punk rock scene in the Bay Area, I could have been somebody like that. I could have been one of those guys. But I jumped timelines. I changed my direction. And the reason I did, because I was afraid of my life. I was afraid of losing my life. I thought the depression I had and the drug use and alcoholism I was developing, I was going to be a short timer. My divergence from having a life of faith, I don't think I would have lived through my 30s. or into my 30s. I was fragile, man. I was fragile, and if they had put me on medication back then, man, I would have been. So anyway, that time I went up on a hillside just like this, not too far from here, 3 or 4 miles from here, and I called out to God, and I said, God, I'm afraid I'm going to die if I don't get out of here, and if I don't go find somebody. I had no faith in the young women of California for any of them to have a pure heart, to have, life devoted to Christ, that could look at somebody like me and say, hey, I like this guy, I want to hook up with him, he needs help, I'll be his partner, I'll help him straighten his life out. I had no faith that I would ever meet anybody here like that. And that's why I left the country. That's why I went to England and then to Ireland. And when I went to Ireland, God delivered. God gave me what I needed, what I asked for, what I needed, and took me away from the life of being a rock and roll photographer and journalist. But it's funny because then, in my 50s, after I got through all the stuff I had to get through, that original early wish came back, and I spent nearly 3 years as a concert photographer and music reviewer, and didn't become famous, but had the illusion of fame because all my stuff was up on the internet. Oh, actually, I did become famous because I had photographs published in Guitar Player magazine, on Spin magazine. Yeah. But anyway, so back to the guys with the record collections. I could have, if I had stayed here, figured out a way to be healthy, and I could be one of these guys that has one of these huge record collections and has like a really unique perspective on what it all means, and I could be telling everybody, oh man, if you haven't heard this album, this is why you should listen to this album. It's just echoes of what could have been. It's funny. Life is funny. Okay, I'm gonna stop. That was it. That was everything. Camera's failing. Battery's going out. I'm gonna wrap this up really fast. The other was recent, in the last 4 or 5 years, my friend Elena. The way these two matched each other, they are from not just upper class families, but from like families with heraldry. I mean, Deirdre was the daughter of one of the most influential anthropologists in the 20th century. I mean, she grew up living at Oxford, and her dad's drinking buddies were C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, and whoever else. This woman became my girlfriend. I knocked this woman's socks off in a lot of ways. But in the end, she came around and made the decision, we're from different classes. We can't go very far. And then Elena is from a rich bloodline in Colombia. Deirdre was English. Elena was from Colombian, like a royal family kind of lineage. And I never became romantically involved with Elena, but she was definitely one of my strongest and closest friends over the past half a decade. But what's going on inside of me that is luring in these women from this really high level of society? And I was just now thinking, God, if there's going to be another one coming in, if I'm going to meet somebody else new, can we please be finished? Can you help me do a healing to that part of myself that draws in? Because I can't make anything work with them. What would feel really good, what would fit really good, is somebody like Michelle and Sandy Jones. Maybe it's time I could meet and really connect with one of those. A girl with that blueprint, soul blueprint. That's what I was thinking. Stay tuned. I have no anticipation. I am not looking to meet anybody. When I was going to school last year, that was my point of thinking, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen when you're in school, and it didn't. So I have no plan. The desire really is gone. I mean, it would have to be a miraculous thing to happen and then to also make me want to partake in it. Cheerio. Seriously, this is the end.